Hi, I'm Sister Unity again. It is Transgender Day of Awareness. It's the day, November 20th, every year, when we remember the transgender men and women who lost their lives to violence. I don't understand, in some sense, why they had to die this way. For so many decades, transgenderism was a medical concern, and people understood, or they kept quiet. It was about compassion for people in a situation that would scramble any of our minds had we been born under these conditions. It's thorny and difficult to figure out, and transgender people go through a lot of self reflection, self understanding, and work to get clear and then to guide their lives in the way that their soul intends. So, why do people have to make their business into drama? Why do they have to stick their noses in other people's business? And why do they have to push their wills with violence? What happened to live and let live? Clearly, young souls have flooded the country, souls who haven't incarnated enough times to know the extremely profound value of live and let live. I want to remember Victoria Oriana, who died in INS custody, writhing in pain, vomiting, feverish, from AIDS, because INS would not give her prescribed AIDS medication. Instead, they let her rot in a cell, and as disease overtook her, nursed only by her cellmate, not taken to a prison hospital, not taken to a regular hospital. In misery, she died. Why? They didn't let other prisoners die. She was trans. Another person's bigoted reaction to the existence of transgenderism, a naturally occurring phenomenon, was to go to Club Q in Colorado Springs and start shooting. Thank Ganesh for the two patrons who counterattacked and stopped more bloodshed. So what do? We're back at square one where we were some years ago, and the Pulse shooting. We're back there again. How did we get back there? Are we going one step forward and three steps back? Do we give up? Do we just wallow in our depression? No. We aren't going one step forward, three steps back. We are going two steps forward with one painful step back. But if you look at the big picture in the long term, our people, at least in the United States, are better off now than we were. That said, we are under threat. It is reported now, as of the time I'm recording this, that the suspect who was apprehended is the grandson of a Republican congressman who believes in January 6th insurrection and refers to it as being like the Revolutionary War. So we are under threat. What then do we do? Are they just going to keep shooting us? What do? We don't carry guns like they do. They, our neighbors, our countrymen. We do what we've always done, even in the face of bullets. We go out in groups or one-on-one, door to door, in the cafes and the supermarkets, and we meet our countrymen, and we let them know who we are. We let them see our humanity. We let them know our vulnerability, our realness. A lot of us have a lot of anger. I don't think we approach them with that anger right away. I think it's fair to be angry in conversation with someone when they say things that are demeaning, that make you angry, but let it be part of a conversation. Because once they have entered in a conversation with any of us, they have, to a certain degree, accepted us. It's like Senator George Mitchell when he was, I believe, when he was Secretary of State or a special envoy under Clinton, and he was sent to North Ireland to start to broker a deal and find communality between the Protestant North Irish and the Catholic North Irish. And the first thing he did in the negotiations was not to bring up political points of policy. It was to negotiate how they would talk to each other. And it was to get them to just talk to each other, even if they talked about talking to each other. And it was so clever because it bridged the gap and it got them talking. And eventually they worked out peace. This is what we do. We get them involved in a conversation. We don't have to win the conversation. We just have to get them in the conversation so that over time, while we converse with them, they get used to our presence. They can see that we are people, different than they are, but people with similarities as well. That's what we do. And for the ones who can't be talked to, who will just resort to violence, then we do one of two things. We tap them on the head with a good solid stick to let them know we mean business. I'm not saying we go out and get guns or we start shooting. We do what they do for violent tactics. It depends on the situation. We definitely have the right to show our strength. How and what that is, I don't know, because it depends on every where, what, who, and when of each situation. And the other part of this is we organize, we network, we talk. If you're a gay man, you talk to the lesbians, you talk to the lesbians of color, you talk to the trans people of color. If you're a trans person of color, you talk to the lesbians. Everyone talks to everyone locally and make a network of people, whether you organize, whether you're a political group, 501c3, or just a casual circle of friends or like-minded people. You talk about your experience, you get things off your chest, and you make plans. Plans to go out and meet your neighbors and your countrymen of all persuasions and to let them know who you are. Have a bake sale, have a heart circle, have a open conversation night. Get creative, but organize, and certainly organize around registering people to vote and getting out the vote. Organize people to run for office in local things like school boards, where education and policies, how schools are run, and what teachers can and cannot say in classrooms, where that is all voted upon. Or city elections, or city council, or state elections. Because it's state legislatures that gerrymander or don't gerrymander. It's state legislatures that set up the rules for elections in their state, you see. So those are very important positions. Organize. Even if you don't feel you can be political and organize on some big statewide level, at least get a group of friends together, a group of neighbors, a like-minded group of people, and come up with plans to expose the hate-filled people to our vulnerability and our humanity. Organize, network. It's like a quilting bee for civil rights. And lastly, what we do during dark times when bad things have happened. Take care of yourself. Feed yourself well. See if you can get enough sleep or rest. Meditate if you can't sleep. If you can't meditate or sleep, read something uplifting. Focus on the current moment. Someone sent me a message today about anxiety, and they were saying anxiety is fear of the future. It's a thing that you expect to come that causes all the anxiety. So if you can, focus on something here and now. I use video games from time to time. In my youth, I haven't been beyond referring to sexual interludes as a distraction. Whatever you can do to focus on the here and now, on what's happening right now and today. Getting together your organizing, writing things to post. Write about what is on your mind politically. That can get you centered in the moment and here and now. That's something to do. Busy work. But take care of yourself, okay? Pamper yourself a little. Be extra sensitive to the fact that you're going through something emotionally, politically, emotionally. You get to do that. It makes you stronger to come back and do the homework. Some people say, oh, you're all so outraged on Facebook or on Twitter, but what good does that do? It's just words. Words count. Words are spells. Look at the efficacy of the MAGA people and their words, and how that inspires members of their community to take loathsome actions. Words count. Words are spells. Words matter. Compose words and or images for online. You may feel like you're an armchair warrior, but you're a warrior, because there's a lot of people in armchairs looking at their computer screens who may see your words. And you may not change any minds. It's not necessarily about changing them over to our side or winning or making them have a moral epiphany. It is about presence. It's about letting them know that we are here and we are queer. And they might choose to get used to it. But whether they get used to it or not, they need to know we are here and that we push back. Our words, our images, our presence online and in the streets says to them, oh, these people aren't going away. And not everyone on that side is going to resort to, okay, I'll just shoot them. There still is some shame, some level of shame. Our presence, even if it's tweets or Instagram posts of memes, pushes back to make the room again for our good. They try to take that room away from us. They try to deny us space in society by outlawing us, by gerrymandering elections to elect officials who are going to rescind our rights, our right to be and live as we are. So they're going to extract us from society, take us out of social space. They're going to try and eliminate us from Twitter and Instagram and media representation. You won't see those queer people anymore. So we push back in media. We say, no, we are here and we are queer. You might want to get used to it. So that is another action that you can take. Make some words, make some images, make some noise. That recreates the space for us to be ourselves. I hope these recommendations are of some use to you. I bet you have ideas too. Please feel free to put them in the comments. Remember to click subscribe. Sorry to be a YouTuber about it, but it's one of the ways in which I organize. I get to meet you and be with you regularly, and we get to make plans and share ideas about how to make more space in the world for our own existence to live and let live. So please click subscribe, click the like button, because that helps my words get around to people who might be able to use them. See, being a YouTube creature has its efficacy. And if you have any questions or ideas you want to run by me, if you've never done this before, if you're not an activist but you want to do something, please feel free to message or put something in the comments to get my attention, And I will answer you back. There is room for you to be who you are, as you are, free from guilt and shame, and filled with love and joy for your own being and your own self-expression, particularly if your gender wasn't gotten right by the creator of your body when you were born. There are doctors, there are community members, there are psychiatric people and psychology people and fashion people and makeup people and just good friends and other people just like you. And we're all here waiting to see your greatest good expressed through who you are as you know your own self. May we have an end to the need for vigils. May we have an end to the need for reading the names of people who've died of violence, particularly ones who are different, particularly trans people. There's room in the world for transgendered people to be who they are, with the names they choose, the clothing they choose, the romances they find themselves falling into. There's room in the world for us. All right, let's get to doing our homework, shall we? I'll see you out there.